Hi guys, Jada here with my Japanese Grand Prix review, where I basically look back at the race and tell you all the key points in case you've missed it or whatever, and just give you a better insight of the race. It's finished on a red flag, sadly. I thought it could have been a more dramatic finish. It was some really good driving coming along towards the end of the race. Basically, it should have been called, instead of the Japanese Grand Prix, it should have been called the Chronicles of Suzuka. The rain, the red flag, and the safety car. Basically, that's all it pretty much was. It started off, well, when I woke up it was sort of raining a bit in Suzuka, and then as it sort of got closer to the race, it sort of went like rain heavier, and then it went from a safety car start, and then about a couple of laps after that it went to the red flag. So I'm sitting there like, I'm tired already, so I'm sitting there literally falling asleep, going like, oh, I just want to get the race started. So luckily, not like Canada where they were sitting there for like an hour and a bit, they were only sitting there for like 10-15 minutes or so, and then they got back out of the race until about lap 8 or 9, and that's when the real racing got going there. Rosberg and Hamilton got away very well. They just left the Williams, Massa and Bottas. They had no grip, they had nothing, and everyone expected them not to do well, the Williams, which is a bit of a shame. To be honest, because I was expecting Williams to have a good chance. If it was dry, they would have had a good chance, but they're not good in the wet. So I think the Red Bull had their chances. So racing went on. Button pitted early for the intermediates, which was a very good call because he was catching everyone. He was matching the pace of the Mercedes, and then everyone else started pitting for the intermediates. And then by that time he was up to third, so he had a really good drive. And obviously, if you notice by that time, Bianchi was up to third. Everyone was having a little bit of fun of that, saying, "Oh, I was alive when Bianchi was up in the podium position." Now, and I'm going to myself, "Come on, Bianchi, you can get the podium." Realistically, he wasn't going to get it, but you have to be optimistic in these days, haven't you? And obviously, just before the restart, Alonso engine shut down. All of a sudden, that was his race over to begin with. I think there's been a little bit of rumours going about, how these rumours are always kicking about the paddock, that Ferrari switched the engine off on purpose. Who knows? That would be actually pretty fun to see. That would make this race weekend a little bit more dramatic. And all in all, it was actually a pretty interesting race. It sort of died down a bit until Hamilton overtook Rosberg, brilliant overtake, and then you had Ricciardo overtake Bottas on the I think it was turn 3 and 4, where he just on the inside, he was behind him, and then he came out on the inside, brilliant overtake, and then Vettel Vettel did it, and then Ricciardo did it, and then Vettel did it again on Massa, and then Ricciardo did it again, and then he didn't want to get away, but and then you had obviously eventually you had Vettel letting Ricciardo through, a bit of a shame really, because I think despite Vettel leaving, he should do well for the team. He should try and get high as he possibly can. At the same time, Ricciardo should get high, but if you look at it realistically, he ain't going to win the championship. Realistically, right? Mathematically, yes. Realistically, no. No offence to Ricciardo, but third place he'll get. Something really dramatic will have to happen if he wants to win the championship. It's either going to be Rosberg or Hamilton. So, but so that happened, and then sort of Rosberg sort of died down a bit. His tyres were wearing off. That was a little bit of wear and tear. And then it got to like a stage where it started raining heavily again, and then Button came on the wet, and everyone else started coming in on the wet for a little bit. But then obviously Hulkenberg went in and then straight out on the intermediates. So that was a little bit strange. Then Sutton crashed. He spun. And apparently Bianchi crashed. I've just found this out, that he apparently hit the JCB trying to carry the Sauber. But I didn't see his car. I just seen his name blanked out where he retired. Now I didn't see anything like that, so I'm thinking, what's going on here? Then the medical car came out. Then the safety car came out. And then everyone was getting worried. I think Martin Brundle or someone was saying, or David Coulthard, I think it was, saying, we're not going to have enough laps in to finish the race, because I think it was on lap 46 out of 53, or 45 out of 53. Obviously you have to let all the lap cars to overtake, and obviously everyone to bunch up, overtake, get cars ready, and then up. Then by that time, it's gonna be getting dark. So the red flagged it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the end of the race. I can't see them starting again. If they're worrying about a safety car start, it's definitely going to end now. And obviously, sadly, it did. The race ended on a red flag, which I would prefer it if it ended. Well, I wouldn't prefer it if it ended on it either, because I was going to say I would prefer it if it ended on a safety car like it did in Brazil 2012, if you remember, when Button won the race in dramatic style. I would say it's the closest finish of all cars in a race Grand Prix, probably about that much. Very, very dramatic racing towards the end. Stupid safety car, you know. Yeah, so the classifications, I've written down because I'm too tired to remember. Hamilton first, Rosberg second, Vettel third. That's the podium. Good that Vettel got the podium. That'll be good for Ferrari as well. You know, looking at that going, I think we've got a very, very good driver here. Ricciardo, Button, Bottas, 4th, 5th and 6th. Button had a really good drive. I hope if the race had continued, he might have just got Ricciardo, hopefully. But maybe Ricciardo was a little bit too pacey, so yeah. Bottas 6th, Massa 7th. The two Williams 6th and 7th. Not strong this weekend. I expect them to be strong at Russia next weekend. Hulkenberg, Verne and Perez, 8th, 9th and 10th. Force India weren't that strong at this race. Toro Rosso, middly, sort of. They didn't really make much of an impact. Kvyat 11th, Raikkonen 12th. Poor race from Raikkonen, no offence. Gutierrez 13th. It's sort of good standard in terms of, obviously, Sauber aren't a midfield team anymore. They're sort of backmarkers now. 13th is a good race for them. Magnussen 14th, he got ahead of McLaren, Gutierrez. Magnussen, poor, I wouldn't say poor race, I would say bad judgment of tyres. I would have thought, you know, he came at the wrong stage. He sort of let Button, because obviously Button's way better than anybody else. It wets and dries and everything. Grosjean 15th, Maldonado 16th. Maldonado actually had a good race, to be fair. He made some good overtakes, which was surprising. He didn't cause any accidents, he didn't cause any damage. You know, he got the race too cleanly. I would say a little bit of a clean race for him. Congratulations, Maldonado, it's a first. Very strange race it has been. Ericsson 17th, Chilton 18th, Kobayashi 19th, and then obviously you had Suttil, Bianchi and Alonso retired. That was the classifications for the Japanese Grand Prix. Next up is Russia. Obviously it's the first race for all of us to experience. I'll be really excited to see who does well and who in that race. And yeah, that concludes this video. I'm going to be doing a Sebastian Vettel career review for all you Vettel fans out there. I'm not a Vettel fan myself, but I thought, you know, just because I'm a Vettel fan, I'm not a Vettel fan doesn't mean to say I can't do anything about him. So I'm going to do something like that where I look at the very start of his career to the very end, sort of towards the end, because it's not the end of the season yet. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy that. Expect that during the week, if I possibly can. You know, I want to get more videos out for you, stuff like this. Any announcements during the week, I might do a little bit of a video, like a 3-minute video or something like that, to give my opinion, ask for your opinion. So what do you think of the race? Do you think it was a good race? Did you enjoy the race? Do you think it was exciting? Do you think it was boring? Do you think because the safety car start and red flag it was a bit dull? I've seen more boring races. I've seen more boring races where it wasn't even raining. I've seen a lot more boring races, even when it wasn't raining, no red flags or anything like that. I've seen a lot worse races. So yeah. Also, please like us on F1 for Life. I'm admin on there, and AE is probably watching this now. Hi AE, how you doing? And MW if you're watching, and Mark, I think I can't pronounce. I keep forgetting your admin name, Mark. If you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, we want to trying to get 50,000 likes before the end of the season. That'll be a target. Also, please follow me on Twitter, Formula_JT in lowercase letters. Subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, Formula JT. And yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you during the week, and keep watching.